When Michael Jordan's precious Hall of Fame ring disappears from his safe, the basketball legend is devastated. This ring means everything to him. It represents his life's work, his championships, and his journey to becoming the greatest player ever. As he begins searching for the missing treasure, Michael has no idea that the truth will shatter his heart. Someone he trusts has betrayed him, and the path to discovering who took the ring will test his strongest relationships. With a charity event for kids just hours away, Michael must put on a brave face while tracking down clues that point to those closest to him, including his own family. Michael Jordan woke up at 6:20 a.m. sharp. The sun was just starting to peek through the curtains of his bedroom window in his Highland Park mansion. Today was special. He had promised a group of kids from Chicago's South Side that he would show them his most prized possession, his Basketball Hall of Fame ring from 2009. Big day today, Michael said to himself as he climbed out of bed. His knees ached a little, a reminder of his years flying through the air in NBA arenas. At 62 years old, the greatest basketball player of all time still kept to a strict schedule. After his morning workout and shower, Michael went to his walk-in closet to pick out his clothes for the day. He chose a light gray suit, a white shirt, and a red tie, Bulls colors. The charity event at the United Center was in 3 hours. He wanted to look good for the kids. "Mr. Jordan, breakfast is ready," called Ricardo, his chef, from downstairs. Right there," Michael answered. But first, he needed to get his Hall of Fame ring from the safe. The ring was special to Michael. It wasn't just about the gold and diamonds. The ring stood for everything he had worked for his entire life. It represented all those early mornings practicing shots while other kids were still sleeping. It represented the 6 NBA championships, the 5 MVP awards, and all the times he had proven his doubters wrong. Michael walked to the painting on his bedroom wall, a picture of the Chicago skyline. He moved it aside to reveal a small safe built into the wall. Only a few people knew about this safe: his personal assistant Kayla, his security chief Tyrone, and his closest family members. He entered the code 22345669, his jersey number twice, and the number of championships he'd won. The safe clicked open. Michael reached inside, feeling for the small velvet box where he always kept the ring. His fingers moved around the safe, touching papers and a few other valuables. But the velvet box wasn't there. "That's weird," he said, frowning. He took everything out of the safe, one by one. Birth certificates, his will, some cash, special watches, but no ring box. "Maybe I put it somewhere else," he muttered, though he knew he hadn't. Michael was careful with his most precious items. The ring always stayed in the safe unless he was wearing it or showing it to someone special. Michael's heart started beating faster. He searched the safe again, then looked around his bedroom. Nothing. He picked up his phone and called Tyrone Williams, his head of security, who had worked for him for 15 years. "Tyrone, can you come up to my bedroom right away?" Michael tried to keep his voice calm, but Tyrone knew him well enough to hear the tension. "On my way, Mr. Jordan," Tyrone said. While waiting, Michael searched his bathroom and closet. He even looked under the bed, though he knew the ring wouldn't be there. By the time Tyrone arrived, Michael's hands were shaking. "What's wrong, sir?" asked Tyrone, a tall, muscular man with serious eyes. "My Hall of Fame ring is missing from the safe," Michael said. Tyrone's expression changed from concern to alarm. "Are you sure, Mr. Jordan? When was the last time you saw it?" 3 days ago. I showed it to Marcus when he visited from Charlotte. I put it back in the safe myself. I'm 100% sure." Tyrone pulled out his phone. "I'll check the security footage right away. and I'll get the team to start a room-by-room search of the house." Within minutes, the mansion was buzzing with activity. Security guards carefully searched each room. Kayla Chen, Michael's personal assistant of 8 years, came rushing in, her face filled with worry. "Michael, what's happening?" she asked. "Someone took my Hall of Fame ring, Kayla," Michael said, his voice breaking a little. Even after all his success and millions of dollars, that ring meant more to him than almost anything he owned. "But how?" "The security here is top-notch," Kayla said, looking as confused as Michael felt. Tyrone returned, his face grim. "Sir, I've checked the security footage from the past week. There's nothing unusual. No break-ins, no strange visitors other than the ones we already knew about." "That means it was someone who had access," Michael said quietly. The thought made him sick to his stomach. Only people he trusted had access to his home, especially his bedroom. Dale Pritchett, Michael's driver for the past decade, appeared in the doorway. "Sir, we need to leave for the United Center in 30 minutes if you still want to make it on time." Michael had forgotten about the charity event. Hundreds of kids were waiting to meet him. He had promised to show them his Hall of Fame ring, to let them see what hard work and determination could achieve. "Should I call and cancel, sir?" asked Kayla, already reaching for her phone. Michael stared out the window at the beautiful spring day. The kids had been looking forward to this event for months. Some of them came from the toughest neighborhoods in Chicago, facing challenges every day that made his own childhood struggles seem small. "No," he decided. "I'm not canceling. My ring is just a thing. What matters is what it stands for. I can still talk to those kids about working hard and never giving up, even when things get stolen from you." But as he said the words, Michael felt a deep pain in his chest. Who would take his ring? And why? The monetary value was high, but not millions. The real value was what it meant to him. "Tyrone, call the police," Michael said, "and keep searching. I want to know who did this." "Yes, sir," Tyrone said, already dialing. Michael went downstairs, his breakfast forgotten. His chef, Ricardo, looked up from the kitchen, concern on his face. "Everything okay, Mr. Jordan?" "Someone took my Hall of Fame ring, Ricardo," Michael said. Ricardo's eyes widened. "But who would do such a thing? Everyone who comes here respects you." That was the question that hurt the most. As Michael walked toward the front door where Dale was waiting with the car, he couldn't stop thinking about it. Someone he trusted had betrayed him. Someone close enough to know about the safe, to know the security patterns of the house. And when he found out who it was, it would break his heart. The black SUV pulled up to the United Center just as Michael's phone rang. It was Tyrone. "Mr. Jordan, the police are sending Detective Maya Reyes to the mansion. She'll meet you there when you return from the charity event." "Thanks, Tyrone. Keep me updated if you find anything," Michael said, ending the call. As Michael stepped out of the car, he spotted a familiar figure waiting near the entrance. Elon Musk. Michael had almost forgotten their scheduled meeting. The tech billionaire had asked to talk about a new basketball training technology he was developing. "Michael, good to see you," Elon said, extending his hand. "I know you're busy with the event, but I thought I could catch you for a few minutes before it starts." "Now's not a great time, Elon," Michael said, trying to hide his distress. Elon studied Michael's face. "Is everything all right? You seem troubled." Before Michael could answer, his phone buzzed with a text from Kayla. "Detective Reyes arrived early. She's asking if you can return ASAP." "I need to cancel our meeting," Michael told Elon. "Something important came up." "Anything I can help with?" Elon asked. Michael hesitated. As Elon began to speak, he had no idea that his impromptu speech would not only move the wedding guests to tears, but would set in motion events that would profoundly change many lives in the room, including his own. "I've built companies and launched rockets," Elon said. "But I've learned that the most complex problems often require fresh eyes. Whatever you're facing, sometimes an outsider's perspective helps." Michael made a split-second decision. My Hall of Fame ring was stolen from my home. I'm supposed to show it to these kids today. Elon's eyebrows shot up. "That's terrible. Listen, handle your charity event. I'll come by your place later. Maybe I can offer some ideas about the security angle." Michael nodded, grateful for the support, but still uneasy. He had only met Elon a few times at business events. Could he trust him? 3 hours later, Michael returned to his Highland Park mansion. Detective Maya Reyes was waiting in his living room, notebook in hand. She was in her early 40s with sharp eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. "Mr. Jordan, I'm Detective Reyes," she said, standing to shake his hand. "I grew up watching you play. Never thought I'd be investigating a theft from your home." "Please call me Michael," he said, sinking into his favorite leather chair. "Have you found anything?" "We're just getting started," Detective Reyes said. "I need to ask some questions about who has access to your home, especially your bedroom, where the safe is located." Michael nodded. "My security team, led by Tyrone Williams, my personal assistant Kayla Chen, my chef Ricardo Mendez, my driver Dale Pritchett, and of course, my family members when they visit." Detective Reyes wrote down the names. "Anyone else been in your home recently? Any guests, workers, friends?" Michael thought for a moment. "My nephew Marcus was here 3 days ago. That's when I last saw the ring. My former teammate Scottie Pippen visited last week. My business manager Curtis Polk came by to discuss some investments. And Elon Musk was here briefly to talk about a basketball tech project." "Elon Musk?" Detective Reyes's pen paused. "The Tesla guy?" "Yes. He wants me to invest in some virtual reality basketball training system. We've been talking about it for a few weeks." Just then, the doorbell rang. Tyrone's voice came through the intercom. "Mr. Jordan, Elon Musk is here. Should I let him in?" Michael looked at Detective Reyes, who nodded. "This might be interesting," she said quietly. Elon walked in, his casual t-shirt and jeans a stark contrast to the formal setting of Jordan's mansion. "Michael, I hope I'm not interrupting," Elon said, then noticed Detective Reyes. "Oh, the police are already involved. Good. Mr. Musk, I'm Detective Reyes," she said. "Mr. Jordan mentioned you were here recently discussing a business venture?" "That's right," Elon said, sitting down. "I'm developing a VR system that tracks and analyses basketball shooting form. Who better to partner with than the greatest shooter in history? And during your visit, did you go upstairs? To Mr. Jordan's bedroom, perhaps?" Detective Reyes asked. Elon's eyes widened. "No, absolutely not. We stayed in the office downstairs." "The ring was upstairs?" Michael nodded. "When exactly was your last visit, Mr. Musk?" Detective Reyes asked. "Last Thursday, around 3 p.m., we spoke for about an hour." Detective Reyes made more notes. "Mr. Jordan, who else knows about your safe? The exact location?" "Just family and my closest staff," Michael said. "It's behind a painting in my bedroom. The code is based on my jersey number and championships." "Not the most secure combination," Detective Reyes observed. "Anyone who knows you well might guess it." Michael had never thought of it that way. He'd trusted the people around him so completely that it never occurred to him one of them might betray him. "I'd like to interview your staff individually," Detective Reyes said. "Starting with your security chief, Tyrone Williams." As if on cue, Tyrone appeared in the doorway. I've been reviewing all security footage again, Mr. Jordan. Still nothing suspicious. That's concerning in itself, Detective Reyes said. Mr. Williams, how long have you worked for Mr. Jordan? 15 years, Tyrone said proudly. Never had a security breach until now. And the other staff members? How long have they been employed? Here. Kayla's been here 8 years. Ricardo, the chef, 12 years. Dale's been driving for Mr. Jordan for 10 years. Anyone new? Detective Reyes asked. Tyrone hesitated. Well, there's Sofia Garcia, a new housekeeper, started about a month ago. I'd like to speak with her, Detective Reyes said. Elon, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. What about the security system itself? Could it have been hacked or disabled temporarily? Tyrone shook his head. State-of-the-art system, no outages or glitches reported. Detective Reyes stood up. Mr. Jordan, I need to see the safe and your bedroom. Then I'll talk to each staff member privately. As they headed upstairs, Michael felt a knot in his stomach. Someone he trusted had betrayed him, and finding out who it was would break his heart. Detective Reyes examined the safe carefully, taking photos and dusting for fingerprints. Doesn't look like it was forced open, she said. Whoever took the ring either knew the combination or watched you enter it at some point. Michael sat heavily on the edge of his bed. I've got to get back to the United Center soon. Those kids are counting on me. Go, Detective Reyes said. I'll keep working here and interview your staff. We'll find your ring, Mr. Jordan. 40 minutes later, Michael was back at the United Center. He pushed his worries aside as he walked into the large event space filled with excited children. Banners hung from the ceiling reading, "Dream Big with MJ," and "Chicago Youth Basketball Camp." "Mr. Jordan! Mr. Jordan!" the kids shouted as he entered. Their faces lit up with huge smiles. Many wore Red Bulls jerseys with his number 23 on the back. Kayla had accompanied Michael to the event. She whispered, "Remember, just stick to the speech we prepared. Don't mention the ring unless someone asks directly." Michael nodded, but his heart wasn't in it. These kids had been told they would get to see his Hall of Fame ring up close. It was the highlight of the event. "Hello, everyone," Michael said into the microphone, forcing a smile. "I'm so happy to be here with all of you today. Who loves basketball?" Hundreds of small hands shot into the air, accompanied by cheers. "That's what I like to hear. Basketball changed my life, and it can change yours too. It taught me about hard work, teamwork, and never giving up, even when things get tough." For the next hour, Michael signed basketballs, posed for photos, and answered questions from the excited children. He was starting to feel better, their energy lifting his spirits. Then a small boy with glasses, maybe 9 years old, approached him. "Mr. Jordan, my name is DeAndre. My grandpa says you're Hall of Fame. Ring is the coolest thing ever. Can I see it, please?" Michael felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. He looked at DeAndre's hopeful face and found himself unable to lie. "I'm sorry, DeAndre. I can't show you the ring today." "Why not?" DeAndre asked, his smile fading. Michael knelt down to eye level with the boy. "Because sometimes in life, things don't go as planned. Even things we care about can go missing." "Your ring is missing?" DeAndre asked, his eyes wide. Michael realized his mistake too late. "It's being cleaned right now for a special event. But you know what? The ring is just a symbol. What matters is the work it took to earn it. Nobody can take that away." DeAndre nodded, though he looked disappointed. "I understand, Mr. Jordan. My mom says the same thing when my trophies get broken." Michael felt tears forming in his eyes. He quickly stood up and turned away, pretending to take a drink of water. From the side of the room, a man watched the exchange with concern. Marcus Jones had been Michael's teammate at Laney High School in Wilmington, North Carolina. Now he ran youth basketball programs in Chicago and often helped at Michael's charity events. As the event wound down and the children began leaving with their parents and teachers, Marcus approached Michael. "Something's wrong, MJ. I can see it on your face." Michael looked at his old friend. They had known each other since they were 14 years old, playing basketball on cracked concrete courts in North Carolina. "Not here," Michael said quietly. "Meet me in the office upstairs." In the private office that the Bulls still kept for Michael at the United Center, he told Marcus everything about the missing ring, the investigation, and his fear that someone close to him had betrayed him. "That's messed up, man," Marcus said, shaking his head. "Who would do that to you?" "That's what I can't figure out," Michael said. "Everyone who has access to that safe has been with me for years. I trust them all." "What about that new housekeeper Tyrone mentioned? Sophia something?" "She doesn't know about the safe, and the security footage shows nothing unusual." Marcus leaned forward. "Remember when your shoes got stolen before the state championship game in high school? We stuck together then, and we'll stick together now. I'll help you find that ring." Michael smiled gratefully. "Thanks, Marcus. You've always had my back." Marcus's phone buzzed. He checked it and frowned. "That's weird. I just got a text asking if you found your ring yet, but I haven't told anyone about it." "Who's it from?" Michael asked. "Unknown number," Marcus replied. "Someone else knows your ring is missing, MJ." Michael's phone rang. It was Detective Reyes. "Mr. Jordan, we may have our first lead. Can you come back to the mansion and bring your assistant Kayla with you? I need to ask her some questions." "What kind of questions?" Michael asked, suddenly alert. "It seems Ms. Chen made a large cash withdrawal from her bank account 3 days ago, the day after you last saw your ring." Michael ended the call, his mind racing. Kayla had been with him for 8 years. He trusted her completely. Could she have taken his ring? As he and Marcus headed for the exit, Michael spotted Elon Musk talking to a group of event sponsors. Their eyes met briefly, and Elon gave a small nod as if to say, "I'm working on it." The mystery was deepening, and Michael wasn't sure who he could trust anymore. Back at the Highland Park mansion, Detective Reyes had set up a temporary command center in Michael's office. Papers covered the large oak desk, and a whiteboard listed potential suspects. "Mr. Jordan, thank you for returning so quickly," Detective Reyes said. She gestured to Kayla, who sat nervously in a chair. "Ms. Chen and I were just discussing her financial situation." "I didn't take your ring, Michael," Kayla said immediately, her voice trembling. "I would never betray you like that." Michael wanted to believe her. Kayla had been his right hand for 8 years, organizing his life with incredible efficiency. She knew all his secrets, handled his most private matters, and had never once let him down. "Then explain the cash withdrawal," Detective Reyes said, her tone professional but firm. $5,000, the day after Mr. Jordan last saw his ring. Kayla's eyes filled with tears. "It was for my brother. He's in Las Vegas. He got into some trouble with gambling debts. I didn't want to tell you because I was embarrassed." Michael felt a wave of relief. That sounded like the truth. Kayla had mentioned her brother's gambling problems before. "Can you prove that?" Detective Reyes asked. "I sent the money by wire transfer," Kayla said. "The bank will have records." Detective Reyes nodded. "We'll check that out." She turned to the whiteboard. "Let's go through everyone who might have had access or opportunity." Tyrone stepped forward. I've been reviewing security footage from the past month, not just the EHOEB past week. I found something interesting from 2 weeks ago. He pulled up a video on his tablet. The footage showed Dennis Rodman, Michael's former Bulls teammate, known for his wild behavior and unpredictable nature, visiting the mansion. "Rodman was here?" Michael asked, surprised. "I was in New York that day for a business meeting." "Yes, sir," Tyrone confirmed. "He said he was in town and wanted to drop off a gift for you. Ms. Chen let him in. He stayed for about 20 minutes, all." Eyes turned to Kayla. "He brought a signed jersey for your collection," she explained. "I didn't think it was a problem. He's been here before." "Did he go upstairs?" Detective Reyes asked. "No, he stayed in the living room," Kayla insisted. "I was with him the whole time." Detective Reyes made a note. "Mr. Rodman has a colorful history, and he currently lives in Miami, correct? Interesting coincidence that he showed up just before the ring went missing." "Dennis wouldn't steal from me," Michael said firmly. "We've had our differences, but he's not a thief." "People can surprise you," Detective Reyes said gently, "especially when they're in need." "Is Rodman having money problems?" Marcus asked. "Not that I know of," Michael replied, "but Dennis has always been unpredictable." Detective Reyes moved to another name on the whiteboard. "Let's talk about Sofia Garcia, your new housekeeper." Tyrone handed her a file. "Background check was clean when we hired her. Been working here for about a month." "But does she have access to your bedroom, Mr. Jordan?" Detective Reyes asked. "Yes, she cleans it 3 times a week," Michael admitted. "But the safe is hidden behind a painting. She wouldn't know about it." "Unless she saw you open it," Detective Reyes suggested. Michael tried to remember if Sophia had ever been present when he accessed the safe. He couldn't recall any specific instance, but it was possible. "What about Curtis Polk?" Detective Reyes asked, pointing to another name on the board. "Your business manager. He visited recently?" "Yes, to discuss some investments and insurance matters," Michael said. "Curtis has been handling my business affairs for decades. I trust him completely." Detective Reyes nodded, but wrote something in her notebook. "And Elon Musk? What was the nature of his visit again?" "He wanted to discuss a basketball training technology," Michael explained. "Some kind of virtual reality system that analyzes player movements and shooting form. He wants me to invest and be the face of the product." "And you just met him recently?" Detective Reyes asked. "We've crossed paths at events over the years, but this business relationship is new," Michael admitted. Detective Reyes added Musk's name to the whiteboard. "Billionaire or not, everyone's a suspect until proven otherwise." Just then, Elon himself walked into the office. "Sorry to interrupt. Your security let me in, Michael. I brought something that might help." He placed a small device on the desk. "This is a prototype scanner my security team developed. It can detect electronic signals like those from hidden cameras or listening devices. I thought it might be worth checking your house." Detective Reyes looked skeptical. "Mr. Musk, with all due respect, this is a police investigation." "Of course," Elon said smoothly. "Just offering resources. Tesla's security team has some capabilities beyond standard police." "Equipment?" Michael was intrigued. "It can't hurt to try, Detective," Detective Reyes reluctantly agreed, and Elon activated the device. It emitted a soft humming sound as he moved it around the office. "Nothing here," he said. "Let's try upstairs where the safe is." As they headed upstairs, Detective Reyes pulled Michael aside. "Mr. Jordan, I need to tell you something. I've been looking into Mr. Polk's finances. He's been having some troubles recently. Investments gone bad, a divorce settlement. He's kept it quiet, but he's not in great financial shape." Michael was stunned. Curtis had never mentioned any financial difficulties. Why would he hide that? In the bedroom, Elon's device suddenly beeped rapidly near the safe. "There's something here," Elon said, his eyes widening. "Some kind of signal." Tyrone looked alarmed. "That's impossible. We sweep for bugs regularly." Elon moved the scanner closer to the painting that hid the safe. The beeping intensified. "Someone may have been monitoring your safe," Elon said. "Watching. When you opened it. Learning the combination." Michael felt sick. The betrayal was even deeper than he'd imagined. Someone had been spying on him in his own bedroom. "Can you tell how long it's been there?" Detective Reyes asked. "Not with this," Elon admitted. "We'd need to find the actual device." Carefully, Tyrone removed the painting. There, nearly invisible in the frame's corner, was a tiny camera no bigger than a pinhead. "Who could have planted this?" Michael asked, his voice barely a whisper. Detective Reyes bagged the camera as evidence. "We'll analyze it at the lab. This could be our break." Michael's phone rang. The screen showed Curtis Polk calling. "Should I answer it?" Michael asked Detective Reyes. "Put it on speaker," she instructed. Michael answered. "Curtis, what's up?" "Michael, we need to talk," Curtis said, his voice tense. "I just got a strange call from someone claiming to have your Hall of Fame ring. They're trying to sell it." Michael locked eyes with Detective Reyes. The plot had just thickened considerably. "Curtis, what exactly did they say?" Michael asked, keeping his voice steady. "A man with a disguised voice called my office," Curtis explained through the speakerphone. "Said he had your Hall of Fame ring and wanted to know if I was interested in buying it back quietly, no police involved. Wanted $500,000. "Did he prove he has the ring?" Detective Reyes asked. He described it perfectly, including the inscription on the inside that isn't public knowledge, Curtis replied. "It's definitely your ring, Michael." "What did you tell him?" Michael asked. "That I needed time to think about it. He's calling back tomorrow at noon. I thought you should know immediately." Detective Reyes leaned forward. "Mr. Polk, we'll need to set up a trace on that call. And we'll need you to come in so we can take your statement officially." "Of course," Curtis said. "I'll be there first thing in the morning." "Michael, I'm so sorry about this." After the call ended, the room fell silent. Finally, Detective Reyes spoke. "This changes things. If someone's trying to sell the ring back, they must be getting desperate. Or it could be a setup," Elon suggested. "A distraction." Marcus, who had been quietly listening, stood up. "MJ, you need a break from all this. Let the detective do her job. Come have lunch with me tomorrow. Clear your head." Michael hesitated, then nodded. "You're right. I'm not helping by hovering over everything." "Where will you go?" Detective Reyes asked. "Giordano's on Rush Street," Marcus answered. "Our favorite pizza place since the 90s. I'll pick you up at 11:30. The next morning, Michael barely slept. He lay awake most of the night, going over and over who could have taken his ring. Every possibility hurt to consider. At 11:30, Marcus arrived in his blue sedan. Ready for some deep dish therapy? Michael managed a small smile. "As ready as I'll ever be." They drove into the city, the familiar Chicago skyline a comforting sight. At Giordano's, they were seated in a private corner booth. The restaurant hadn't changed much over the years. Red checkered tablecloths, signed photos on the walls, the smell of garlic and tomato sauce filling the air. "Remember coming here after games?" Marcus asked as they waited for their pizza. "You'd be exhausted but still signed every autograph." "Different times," Michael said softly. "Back then I knew who was on my team and who wasn't." Marcus leaned forward. "Speaking of which, you won't believe who I ran into last week. Shamond." Williams, Shamond? From North Carolina? Michael perked up. Shamond Williams had played basketball at UNC a few years after Michael left for the NBA. Yeah, he's in Chicago now, coaching some high school team, Marcus said. But he was asking some weird questions about you. What kind of questions? Michael asked, suddenly alert. About your memorabilia collection, specifically what items you keep at home versus what's in storage. I thought it was odd at the time. Michael frowned. I barely know Shamond. We met a few times at UNC alumni events, but that's it. Exactly, Marcus said. And you know he always had that chip on his shoulder. Always felt he was living in your shadow at Carolina. Michael added this new information to the growing puzzle in his mind. Could Shamond Williams be involved somehow? Their pizza arrived, steam rising from the deep dish. As they ate, Michael's phone rang. It was Detective Reyes. Mr. Jordan, we found something interesting in the older security footage. 2 weeks ago, Curtis Polk visited your mansion at 11:30 p.m. According to your staff, this was unusual. Very unusual, Michael confirmed. Curtis never comes by that late. What did he say he was doing there? He told your night security he needed to pick up some urgent documents you'd left for him, Detective Reyes replied. But your assistant Kayla says you didn't leave any documents. Michael's stomach tightened. Curtis has been my business manager for over 20 years. I don't want to believe he'd betray me. There's more, Detective Reyes continued. The security system had a 3-minute outage 10 days ago. Tyrone Williams wrote it off as a power glitch, but our tech team says it looks more like someone deliberately took the system offline briefly. Tyrone? Michael could hardly believe it. His security chief had been with him through thick and thin. That doesn't make sense. We're investigating all angles, Detective Reyes assured him. Oh, and that hidden camera we found? It's an expensive model, not something an amateur would use. Very sophisticated. After ending the call, Michael stared out the restaurant window. The Chicago River flowed past, tourists on boats pointing at the city's famous buildings. Bad news? Marcus asked. Curtis visited my place late at night 2 weeks ago for no clear reason. And Tyrone might have covered up a security system outage, Michael explained. People I've trusted for decades, Marcus. Marcus shook his head. That's hard to hear. But remember when Coach Smith always said, never assume, always verify? Maybe there are explanations. I hope so, Michael said. Because right now I feel like I don't know anyone anymore. As they finished lunch, Michael noticed a man at the bar watching them. When their eyes met, the man quickly looked away and left. Did you see that guy? Michael asked. What guy? Marcus turned, but the man was already gone. Never mind, Michael said, though something about the man seemed vaguely familiar. Back in the car, Marcus took a different route back to Highland Park. Want to drive past the old Chicago Stadium site, for old time's sake? The site where the Bulls' old arena once stood now featured a commemorative plaque. As they drove slowly past, Michael noticed a small group of people gathered around it. Stop the car, Michael said suddenly. In the small crowd was Elon Musk, talking intently with a woman Michael didn't recognize. What was Elon doing there? That's strange, Michael murmured. What is? Marcus asked. Nothing, Michael said. Let's head back. I need to talk to Detective Reyes. The pieces weren't fitting together yet, but one thing was becoming clear. This was bigger than just a stolen ring. Someone was playing a very complex game, and Michael was determined to find out who. Back at the mansion, Detective Reyes was interviewing Sofia Garcia, the new housekeeper. Michael and Marcus arrived just as she was finishing. Mr. Jordan, can I speak with you privately? Detective Reyes asked. In the study, She closed the door. Ms. Garcia seems clean. Her background checks out, and she has a solid alibi for when the ring disappeared. But we found something else. She held up a small, plastic bag containing a tiny black device. This was hidden in your kitchen. Another listening device. "My whole house is bugged?" Michael asked, anger rising in his voice. "We're sweeping every room now," Detective Reyes assured him. "We'll find them all." Michael's phone buzzed with a key text message from an unknown number. He looked down and froze. "What is it?" Detective Reyes asked, noting his expression. Michael handed her the phone. The message read, "I know who took your ring. Meet me at the Chicago Theater at 9 p.m. Come alone, or I won't show." "This is obviously a trap," Detective Reyes said immediately. "You can't go." "But what if they really know something?" Michael argued. "This might be our best lead, or it could be the thief trying to lure you out," she countered. "It's too risky." "Then we make it less risky," Michael insisted. "You and your officers can be there undercover. But I need to go." After much discussion, Detective Reyes reluctantly agreed to the plan. "We'll have plainclothes officers throughout the theater. You'll wear a wire so we can hear everything. At the first sign of trouble, we move in." At 8:45 p.m., Michael stood in the empty lobby of the historic Chicago Theater. The grand staircase and ornate decorations seemed eerie in the dim light. His heart pounded as he checked his watch repeatedly. 8 p.m. came and went. No one approached. "Maybe they saw the police," Michael whispered to the microphone hidden under his jacket. At 9:10, a man in a maintenance uniform entered the lobby, pushing a cleaning cart. "Sir, the theater is closed for the night," the man said, approaching Michael. "I'm waiting for someone," Michael replied, watching him carefully. The man looked around nervously, then reached into his pocket. "Someone paid me $100 to give you this." He handed Michael an envelope and quickly walked away. "Wait!" Michael called, but the man hurried out a side door. Detective Reyes's voice came through Michael's earpiece. "We've got officers following him. Open the envelope, but be careful." Inside was a photograph of Michael's Hall of Fame ring sitting on what looked like a newspaper dated 2 days ago. Proof the ring still existed. There was also a handwritten note. "Your greatest betrayal came from those closest to you. Look to your family." Michael stared at the note, a cold feeling spreading through his chest. His family? What did that mean? Moments later, Detective Reyes and 2 officers entered the lobby. "We caught up with the maintenance worker. Says a woman paid him to deliver the envelope. He didn't know what was inside." "A woman?" Michael asked, surprised. "Yes, he couldn't give a good description. Said she was wearing sunglasses and a hat. Average height, maybe in her 30s or 40s. Back at the police station, they reviewed security camera footage from around the theater. The cameras had caught a blurry image of a woman handing the envelope to the maintenance worker. "Can you clean up that image?" Michael asked the technician. After some computer enhancement, the grainy picture became slightly clearer. Michael leaned forward, squinting at the screen. "That looks like—" he began, then stopped. "You recognize her?" Detective Reyes asked. "It could be Kayla," Michael said quietly. "My assistant. But it's hard to tell for sure with the hat and glasses." Detective Reyes frowned. "Ms. Chen told us she was having dinner with friends tonight. We can verify that alibi." "I can't believe Kayla would betray me," Michael said, shaking his head. "There must be some mistake." "The note mentioned family," Detective Reyes pointed out. "Ms. Chen isn't family." "She's like family," Michael insisted. "She knows everything about me, my schedule, my personal life." "Which is exactly why she'd be a prime suspect," Detective Reyes said gently. "We'll look into it carefully before making." any accusations. Late that night, Michael returned to his mansion, his mind racing. The security team had removed 7 listening devices from throughout the house. Someone had been spying on him for who knows how long. But who? And why go to such elaborate lengths for one ring? Even a Hall of Fame ring? As he got ready for bed, Michael stared at the empty spot in his safe where the ring had been. The notes, words echoed in his mind. Your greatest betrayal came from those closest to you. Look to your family. His actual family, his ex-wife Juanita, his 3 children Jeffrey, Marcus, and Jasmine, they would never betray him like this. Would they? His phone rang, startling him. It was Marcus Jones. MJ, I've been thinking about everything. I think we need to go to North Carolina. Your roots. That's where the answers are. North Carolina? Why? Just a feeling, Marcus said. Sometimes you need to go back to the beginning to understand the present. Michael considered this. North Carolina was where it all started. His basketball journey, his rise to fame. Could the answer to the missing ring lie in his past? I'll think about it, Michael said. Thanks, Marcus. After hanging up, Michael noticed a new email on his phone. The subject line made his blood run cold. I have what you're looking for. With trembling fingers, Michael opened the email. There was no text, just an image attachment. He tapped it, and there was his Hall of Fame ring, photographed on top of today's Chicago Tribune. Whoever had the ring was taunting him, proving they still had it. Michael immediately called Detective Reyes. I just received an email with a photo of my ring, he explained. They're contacting me directly now. Forward it to me right away, she instructed. We can trace the sender's IP address. Michael did as she asked, then paced his bedroom, too agitated to sleep. The suggestion to visit North Carolina kept playing in his mind. What answers could possibly be waiting for him there? By morning, he'd made his decision. He called Marcus. You're right. Let's go to Chapel Hill. There's a UNC game tomorrow night. I'll have my pilot prepare the jet. Detective Reyes wasn't happy about Michael leaving Chicago. The investigation is here, she argued in his kitchen that morning. Whoever took the ring is here. Maybe not, Michael countered. That email last night came from an IP address in North Carolina. Your tech team confirmed it. This was true. The police had traced the email to a coffee shop in Chapel Hill, though the trail went cold after that. I need to follow this lead, Michael insisted. And I need to clear my head. Everyone here is under suspicion, even people I've trusted for years. Detective Reyes relented. Fine, but I want daily updates. And take no unnecessary risks. That afternoon, Michael and Marcus boarded Michael's private jet at Chicago Executive Airport. As they settled into the plush leather seats, Michael noticed. Marcus seemed nervous. Everything okay? Michael asked. Just not a fan of flying, Marcus replied, buckling his seatbelt tightly. The flight to Raleigh-Durham International Airport took just over 2 hours. A rental car was waiting for them, and they drove the short distance to Chapel Hill, the college town where Michael had become a basketball star in the early 1980s. Feels like coming home, Michael said as they passed familiar landmarks. Franklin Street, the Carolina Inn, and finally, the Dean E. Smith Center, home of the UNC Tar Heels basketball team. They checked into the Carolina Inn, a historic hotel near campus where Michael always stayed when visiting. In his room, Michael called ahead to UNC's current basketball coach, Roy Williams, an assistant coach during Michael's playing days who had become head coach long after Michael left for the NBA. Michael, great to hear from you, Coach Williams exclaimed. I heard you're coming to the game tomorrow. The team would love to meet you. I'd like that, Coach, Michael said. But I'm here on personal business, too. Could we talk privately tomorrow? Before the game? Of course. Come by my office at 5 p.m. After hanging up, Michael and Marcus went to dinner at Top of the Hill, a popular restaurant overlooking Franklin Street. As they ate, Michael noticed several people taking discreet photos of him with their phones. "Never gets old, does it?" Marcus commented. "Being the most famous person wherever you go." Michael shrugged. "You get used to it." Their server, a young student with wide eyes, approached nervously. "Mr. Jordan, I hate to bother you, but there's a gentleman at the bar who says he's an old friend of yours. He asked if you'd join him for a drink." Michael frowned. "Did he give a name?" "No, sir, but he said you'd want to talk to him." Michael exchanged glances with Marcus, then nodded. "Tell him he can come over." A few minutes later, a familiar figure approached their table. Michael's stomach tightened. "Isaiah Thomas," he said coolly. "What are you doing in Chapel Hill?" Thomas, Michael's longtime rival from his Chicago Bulls days, when Thomas played for the Detroit Pistons, smiled thinly. "Visiting my nephew. He's considering UNC for college." He gestured to the empty chair. "Mind if I join you?" Michael nodded, stiffly. He and Thomas had a complicated history, filled with intense on-court battles and off-court tension. They were never friends, despite Thomas's occasional attempts to rewrite that history. "I heard about your ring," Thomas said after ordering a drink. "That's rough." Michael stared at him. "How did you hear about that?" "We've kept it out of the press." Thomas waved dismissively. "Word gets around in our circles. Collectors talk." "Collectors?" Michael asked sharply. "So someone's trying to sell it?" "Not officially," Thomas said. "But there are whispers. Someone's putting out feelers to gauge interest." He leaned forward. "Look, I know we've had our differences, but I respect what that ring means to you. If I hear anything concrete, I'll let you know." After Thomas left, Marcus looked troubled. That was weird. What's he really doing here? "I don't know," Michael said, "but it's a big coincidence that he shows up right after the ring goes missing." The next day, Michael met with Coach Roy Williams in his office at the Dean Smith Center. The walls were covered with photos of UNC basketball history, including several of Michael in his college uniform. "What can I help you with, Michael?" Coach Williams asked after they exchanged pleasantries. Michael explained about the missing ring and the mysterious connections to North Carolina. "That's terrible," Williams said, shaking his head. "That ring represents your whole career." "Have you noticed anything unusual lately?" Michael asked. "Anyone asking questions about me or my memorabilia?" Williams thought for a moment. "Now that you mention it, I did see your old agent, David Falk, in town last week. That's not too unusual. He represents some current players, but he was having dinner with a woman I didn't recognize at Crossroads Restaurant. They seemed to be having an intense conversation." "Falk is in Chapel Hill?" Michael asked, surprised. His former agent rarely visited North Carolina these days. "Yeah, struck me as a bit odd," Williams continued. "I said hello briefly. He seemed nervous, like he didn't want me to linger." After leaving Coach Williams, Michael and Marcus took their seats for the UNC basketball game against Duke, their biggest rival. The arena erupted when Michael was shown on the big screen, but he barely noticed. His mind was racing with new questions. What was David Falk doing in Chapel Hill? And who was the woman with him? At halftime, Michael's phone rang. It was Detective Reyes. "Mr. Jordan, we have some new information about Kayla Chen," she said. "Her brother in Las Vegas owes money to some dangerous people. Much more than we initially thought, close to $200,000 in gambling debts." "You think she took my ring to help him?" Michael asked, stepping into a quiet hallway. "It's a strong motive," Detective Reyes replied, "and the timing lines up. We're bringing her in for more questioning." As Michael ended the call, he spotted a familiar face in the crowd. Shamond Williams, the former UNC player Marcus had mentioned. Shamond saw Michael looking and quickly turned away, disappearing into the sea of blue-clad fans. "There's Shamond," Michael said to Marcus when he returned to his seat. "He saw me and took off." "That's suspicious," Marcus commented. "Want to go after him?" Michael shook his head. "Later. I want to talk to David Falk first. If he's still in town, he must be staying at the Carolina Inn, too." The UNC Tar Heels won the game by 3 points. As the arena emptied, Michael's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. The ring never left Chicago. The answer is where it all began. Michael showed the message to Marcus. Where it all began? What does that mean? Laney High School. In Wilmington? Marcus suggested, referring to their high school. Or maybe the old Chicago stadium where you started with the Bulls. Michael stared at the message. "I don't know, but I'm starting to think this trip was a mistake. We need to get back to Chicago." They caught the first flight back to Chicago the next morning. Michael barely slept on the plane, his mind racing with all the new information. Why had Isaiah Thomas really been in Chapel Hill? What was David Falk doing there? And why had Shamond Williams run away when he saw Michael? By the time they landed at Chicago O'Hare, it was just past noon. Michael had 3 missed calls from Detective Reyes and 1 from Elon Musk. "Mr. Jordan," Detective Reyes said when he called her back. "We questioned Ms. Chen extensively. Her brother's gambling debts are serious. He owes money to some dangerous people in Las Vegas. But her alibi checks out for when the ring disappeared. And the bank confirmed she wired the exact amount of her cash withdrawal to her brother in Vegas." "So Kayla's in the clear?" Michael asked, feeling relieved. "For now," Detective Reyes said cautiously. "But someone who looks like her was seen delivering that envelope at the Chicago theater. We're still investigating that angle." After ending the call with Detective Reyes, Michael called Elon Musk. "Michael, I've been trying to reach you," Elon said. "Can we meet today? I've been working on something that might help with your situation." They arranged to meet at the Tesla showroom on Grand Avenue in downtown Chicago. When Michael and Marcus arrived, Elon was waiting for them in a private room at the back of the showroom. "This whole ring situation has got me thinking," Elon said once they were seated. "I came to you initially about a basketball training system using virtual reality technology. But now, I'm convinced the same technology could revolutionize security for valuable items." Elon pulled out his tablet and showed them a 3D rendering of a small device. "This is a prototype of what I'm calling Tesla Safe. It uses biometric scanning, fingerprints, retina scans, voice recognition, plus encrypted blockchain verification. If this had been protecting your ring, the thief would have left digital fingerprints we could trace." "Sounds impressive," Michael said. "But how does this help me find my ring now?" "That's why I called you," Elon explained. "My security team has been analyzing those listening devices found in your house. They're extremely sophisticated, military grade. Very few people would have access to this level of technology." "Are you suggesting someone with military connections took my ring?" Michael asked. "Not necessarily military," Elon replied, "but someone with high-level security expertise or connections. The kind of person who knows how to disable security systems without leaving traces." Michael remembered what Detective Reyes had said about the brief security outage at his mansion. "Like my security chief, Tyrone?" "Possibly," Elon said, "or someone with similar expertise." "Wait a minute," Marcus interrupted. "You collect sports memorabilia, don't you, Elon? I read that somewhere." Elon nodded. "I have a small collection, yes. Nothing like Michael's, of course." "And you have a security team that knows about this high-tech surveillance equipment?" Marcus continued, his voice taking on an edge. Michael glanced at his friend, surprised by the accusation in his tone. Elon smiled calmly. I see where you're going with this, but I assure you, I have no interest in stealing Michael's ring. I could simply buy rare memorabilia if I wanted it. Just like you could buy a basketball team instead of partnering with Michael on your VR project? Marcus pressed. Marcus, stop, Michael said. Elon's trying to help. Elon held up his hand. It's a fair question. Trust should be earned. Michael, to be completely transparent, my head of security is Blake Reynolds, a former FBI agent who specializes in security systems. He's the one who's been analyzing the devices found in your house. Blake Reynolds, Michael repeated. I'd like to meet him. Of course, Elon said, typing on his phone. He can be here in 20 minutes. While they waited, Elon showed Michael more details about the basketball training system he was developing. The technology used sensors to track a player's movements and provided real-time feedback on shooting form, footwork, and other skills. This could really help young players, Michael admitted, momentarily distracted from his missing ring, especially those who don't have access to top coaches. Exactly, Elon said enthusiastically. And with your name attached to it, every kid in the world would want to use it. Blake Reynolds arrived precisely 20 minutes later. He was a tall, lean man with short gray hair and the alert posture of someone used to assessing threats. Mr. Jordan, it's an honor, Blake said, shaking Michael's hand. I've been studying the surveillance devices from your home. They're not something an amateur would use. Do you have any idea who might have placed them? Michael asked. Based on the technology, I can narrow it down to a few possibilities. Blake explained. They're similar to devices used by private intelligence firms, the kind rich people hire to spy on business competitors or unfaithful spouses. Or the kind someone might hire to track valuable collectibles, Michael suggested. Blake nodded. Exactly. There's a firm in Miami that specializes in this type of work. They're called Sentinel Security Solutions. Very discreet, very expensive. Miami? Michael and Marcus exchanged looks. Dennis Rodman lives in Miami, Marcus said. And he visited your house recently, Michael remembered. It's a connection worth exploring, Blake agreed. But these firms work for many high-profile clients. As they talked, Michael's phone buzzed with a text from Detective Reyes. Urgent news about Curtis Polk. Call me ASAP. Michael excused himself to make the call. Mr. Jordan, we've been looking into Mr. Polk's recent activities, Detective Reyes said. A collector in Hong Kong contacted us. Someone tried to sell him a Basketball Hall of Fame ring a few days ago. The deal fell through when the collector became suspicious about its authenticity. Was it Curtis? Michael asked, his voice tight. The seller used an intermediary, but we're tracing the money trail. I thought you should know. Michael ended the call, his mind spinning. Curtis Polk, his trusted business manager for decades, possibly trying to sell his ring in Hong Kong? It seemed unbelievable, yet the evidence was mounting. When he returned to the meeting room, Elon was showing Marcus something on his tablet. Michael, you okay? Marcus asked, noting his expression. Someone tried to sell my ring to a collector in Hong Kong, Michael said. The police think it might have been Curtis. The walls are closing in on whoever took it, Elon said. They're getting desperate. Michael nodded grimly. And desperate people make mistakes. After leaving the Tesla showroom, Michael decided it was time to talk to his family. He hadn't told them about the missing ring yet, not wanting to worry them. But if the anonymous note was right about looking to his family for answers, he needed to see them face to face. He called his ex-wife Juanita, with whom he maintained a friendly relationship, despite their divorce years earlier. "I know it's last minute," Michael said. "But could you get the kids together for dinner tonight? I need to talk to all of you." "Is everything okay, Michael?" Juanita asked, concern in her voice. "I'll explain when I see you," he replied. Juanita agreed to host dinner at her Lincoln Park home, where their 3 children, Jeffrey, Marcus, and Jasmine, often gathered for family occasions. Detective Reyes wasn't happy about Michael's plan. "If someone in your family is involved, you could be tipping them off," she warned when Michael called to update her. "I know these people better than anyone," Michael insisted. "I'll see things you wouldn't notice." That evening, Michael arrived at Juanita's elegant brick home. The familiar scent of her cooking brought back memories of their years together. All 3 of his children were already there, gathered in the living room. Jeffrey, his oldest at 36, greeted him with a firm handshake. Marcus gave him a quick hug, while Jasmine, his youngest at 31, kissed him on the cheek. "Dad, what's going on?" Jasmine asked. "Mom said you needed to talk to us about something important." "Let's eat first," Michael suggested. "Then we'll talk." During dinner, Michael observed his family carefully. Jeffrey talked about his business ventures. Jasmine discussed her fashion design work. And Marcus seemed unusually quiet, pushing food around his plate. "Everything okay, Marcus?" Michael asked casually. Marcus looked up, startled. "Yeah, just tired. Been busy with some new projects." After dinner, they moved to the living room. Michael took a deep breath. "My Hall of Fame ring is missing," he said simply. "It was stolen from my safe a week ago." Their reactions seemed genuine: shock, concern, and anger on his behalf. Juanita immediately began asking practical questions about police involvement and insurance. "Why didn't you tell us sooner?" Jeffrey asked. "I wanted to handle it quietly," Michael explained. "The police are investigating, but I've also been following some leads myself." "Any suspects?" Jasmine asked. Michael hesitated. "Several. The problem is, they're all people I trust." Marcus shifted uncomfortably in his chair. "Anyone we know?" "Kayla, Curtis Polk, maybe even Tyrone," Michael replied. "And I got an anonymous note saying to look to my family for answers." The room fell silent. Juanita looked at each of her children, then back at Michael. "That's ridiculous," she said firmly. "None of our children would steal from you." Michael studied Marcus, who was now staring at the floor. "Marcus, is there something you want to tell me?" Marcus looked up, his expression troubled. I've been meaning to tell you something, but it's not about your ring. At least, I don't think it is." "What is it?" Michael urged. "A few weeks ago, this guy contacted me on social media, said he was a distant cousin named Terrence Jordan from Wilmington, claimed he was working on a Jordan family history project, and wanted to interview me about you." "I don't have a cousin named Terrence," Michael said, frowning. "I figured that out eventually," Marcus continued. "But he was convincing at first. Knew a lot about our family, details that aren't public knowledge. We met for coffee a couple times. He asked a lot of questions about your memorabilia collection, where you keep things. I didn't tell him anything specific, but..." "But what?" Michael pressed. "He seemed particularly interested in your Hall of Fame ring," Marcus admitted, looking ashamed. "I mentioned you sometimes kept it in your home safe. I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't think anything of it at the time." Michael felt a chill. What was this man's real name? "I don't know. When I got suspicious and pressed him for ID, he stopped contacting me." Michael immediately called Detective Reyes, putting her on speakerphone. He explained what Marcus had told him. "Did you get a photo of this man?" Detective Reyes asked. "No, but I could work with a sketch artist," Marcus offered. "He was maybe 40, medium build, light brown skin. His most distinctive feature was a small scar near his right eye. Detective Reyes promised to send a sketch artist to Marcus the next morning. After ending the call, Michael noticed Jasmine looking thoughtful. "What is it, Jazz?" he asked. "That description sounds like Antoine Walker," she said slowly. "The former NBA player?" Michael asked, surprised. Jasmine nodded. "I met him at a charity event last year. He has a scar like that." Michael knew Antoine Walker's story well. A successful NBA career followed by bankruptcy after retirement. Walker had lost nearly $110 million through bad investments and excessive spending. A former NBA player desperate for money, Michael mused. "That's a solid motive." "But how would he know about your safe?" Juanita asked. "Marcus only mentioned you kept the ring at home." "Someone must be helping him," Michael reasoned. "Someone with inside knowledge." As they continued discussing possibilities, Michael's phone buzzed with a text from Detective Reyes. "Urgent update. Can you come to the station?" Michael excused himself, promising to keep his family informed. Outside, he called the detective. "What's happened?" he asked. "We traced the email with the ring photo," she replied. "It was sent through multiple servers to hide the origin, but our tech team finally pinpointed it. The original IP address belongs to a computer registered to Tyrone Williams." Michael felt like the ground had shifted beneath his feet. Tyrone, his security chief for 15 years, a man he'd trusted with his life? "There's more," Detective Reyes continued. "We found receipts from a high-end jewelry store in Miami, in that vacant apartment where the surveillance equipment was traced. The same store Tyrone Williams visited last month, according to his credit card records." "I'm on my way," Michael said, his voice hollow. As he drove to the police station, Michael's phone rang. It was Elon Musk. "Michael, Blake's been analyzing the security footage from your home. There's something you need to see." "I'm heading to the police station right now," Michael replied. "Tyrone Williams is looking guilty." "That's just it," Elon said urgently. "The footage has been altered, very professionally, but Blake found the discrepancies. Someone edited Tyrone into scenes he wasn't actually present for." "What?" Michael was confused. "Why would someone frame Tyrone?" "I don't know," Elon admitted. "But whoever did this has serious technical skills and access to your security system." Michael's mind raced. If Tyrone was being framed, the real thief was still out there, and clever enough to manipulate evidence to throw suspicion on others. The web of betrayal was growing more complex by the hour. At the police station, Michael met with Detective Reyes and showed her the security footage that Elon had sent to his phone. "See these shadows?" Michael pointed to subtle inconsistencies in the video. According to Elon's security expert, they don't match the lighting in the rest of the frame. They've been digitally added. Detective Reyes studied the footage, her expression troubled. "This changes things. If someone has the skills to fake this kind of evidence, they could be framing Tyrone." "I want to talk to him," Michael insisted. Tyrone Williams sat in an interview room, his usual confident demeanor replaced with worry. When Michael entered, Tyrone stood up quickly. "Mr. Jordan, I swear I didn't take your ring. I've been loyal to you for 15 years. Michael studied the man who had protected him for over a decade. "I believe you, Tyrone. But I think you know more than you're saying." Tyrone's shoulders slumped. "I didn't want to tell you because I was embarrassed. There was a security breach about a month ago. Someone hacked into our camera system. I found it and fixed it. But I didn't report it because it happened on my watch. I thought I had handled it." "Why did you go to that jewelry store in Miami?" Detective Reyes asked. "My anniversary was last month. I bought my wife a necklace," Tyrone explained. "You can call her and verify." As they left the interview room, Detective Reyes looked troubled. His story checks out about the anniversary gift, but hiding a security breach is a serious lapse in judgment. But not theft, Michael pointed out. Someone's going to great lengths to make innocent people look guilty. Back at the mansion, Michael found Elon Musk waiting with his security chief, Blake Reynolds. They had brought specialized equipment to search for additional surveillance devices. "We found something," Blake said, holding up a small object. "A hidden camera in your home office that isn't part of your security system. It's been watching your every move in there." "Can you trace the signal?" Michael asked. Blake nodded. "It's transmitting to somewhere in downtown Chicago. We're working on the exact location." 3 hours later, Blake called with an update. "We traced the signal to a vacant apartment in the West Loop. The police are raiding it now." Michael and Elon arrived at the apartment just as Detective Reyes and her team were finishing their search. The space was empty except for surveillance equipment set up on a folding table. "Whoever was using this place cleared out in a hurry," Detective Reyes said. "But they left something behind." She held up a small plastic bag containing receipts. "These are from a high-end jewelry store in Miami called Platinum Designs. They specialize in custom work." "Dennis Rodman lives in Miami," Michael said, the pieces starting to connect. "And he visited my house 2 weeks before the ring disappeared." "There's something else," Detective Reyes added. "We found this." She handed Michael a business card for Curtis Polk's management company. On the back was a handwritten note. "HK, buyer backed out. Try Singapore." "Hong Kong," Michael said softly. "The collector who got suspicious about the ring was in Hong Kong. And now they're looking for a buyer in Singapore," Detective Reyes concluded. Michael's phone rang. It was Curtis Polk. "Michael, I've been trying to reach you," Curtis said urgently. "Someone's been impersonating me. A collector in Hong Kong contacted me, saying someone using my name tried to sell them your Hall of Fame ring. It wasn't me, Michael. I swear it." "Then how did they convince the collector they were you?" Michael asked. "They had documents with my signature," Curtis explained. "Someone hacked my email. They have access to contracts I've sent. Michael, I've been your business manager for over 20 years. I would never betray you like this." After ending the call, Michael shared the information with Detective Reyes and Elon. "Is it possible someone's creating an elaborate scheme to frame multiple people?" Elon wondered. "First Tyrone, then Curtis, maybe even Kayla." "But why?" Michael asked. "Why not just take the ring and disappear? Why create this complex plot?" "Because it's not just about the ring," Detective Reyes suggested. "It might be about hurting you personally, destroying your trust in the people closest to you." Michael felt a chill at the thought. Someone wasn't just stealing from him. They were trying to dismantle his entire support system. Blake Reynolds returned from examining the surveillance equipment. "We found something strange on the computer. Someone was researching another NBA Hall of Famers memorabilia collection." "Jerry West." "Jerry West?" Michael repeated. "The logo?" "Yes, and there were notes about his schedule, his security setup. It looks like your ring might not be the only target," Blake explained. Michael immediately called Jerry West, warning him about the potential threat. West thanked him for the heads up and mentioned something that made Michael's heart sink. "You know, I heard about your ring situation from someone in Charlotte last week," West said. "Thought it was strange it wasn't in the news." "Who told you?" Michael asked sharply. "Your nephew, Marcus. He was visiting from Charlotte. Mentioned it at a golf event." Michael ended the call, confused. He had only told his nephew Marcus about the missing ring 3 days ago, during their visit to his home. How could he have been telling people in Charlotte about it last week? The betrayal was taking shape, but the picture it formed was more disturbing than Michael had imagined. "I need to go to the Basketball Hall of Fame," Michael told Detective Reyes the next morning. "In Springfield, Massachusetts." "Why there?" she asked. "Something's not adding up," Michael explained. "Maybe being where it all started, where I received the ring, will help me think clearly." Detective Reyes wasn't convinced, but agreed to continue the investigation in Chicago while Michael traveled to Springfield. This time, Michael went alone. He needed space to think without distractions. The Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame stood tall and proud, its distinctive spherical shape gleaming in the morning sun. Michael had been here many times, most importantly in 2009 when he was inducted and received the ring that was now missing. Inside, visitors recognized him immediately, but the staff respectfully gave him space to wander through the exhibits. Michael stopped in front of his own display, which featured his Bulls jersey, shoes, and photos from key moments in his career. The spot where a replica of his Hall of Fame ring should have been displayed was empty, with a small sign saying, "Item, temporarily removed for cleaning." "They took it down after I reported mine missing," Michael realized. The Hall of Fame had a replica of each inductee's ring on display. As Michael moved through the museum, memories flooded back. The night of his induction, the speech he gave, the people who had been there to support him. He remembered slipping the ring onto his finger for the first time, feeling the weight of all his years of hard work and dedication. "Michael Jordan," a familiar voice said behind him. "Didn't expect to see you here today." Michael turned to find Jerry West, the NBA legend whose silhouette formed the NBA logo, standing there with a friendly smile. "Jerry, what are you doing here?" Michael asked, surprised. "Board meeting," West explained. "We had to discuss some new exhibits, but the real question is, what brings you here? I heard about your ring." "I'm trying to figure out who took it," Michael admitted, "and why they're going to such lengths to frame the people close to me." West nodded sympathetically. "Terrible business. By the way, your nephew seemed quite concerned when he mentioned it last week." "When exactly did you talk to him?" Michael asked carefully. "At the charity golf tournament in Charlotte," West replied. "Must have been Tuesday or Wednesday last week. He mentioned it quietly, asked me not to tell anyone else. The timeline was wrong. The ring had only disappeared less than a week ago, and Michael had only told his nephew Marcus about it 3 days ago." "Jerry, this is important," Michael said urgently. "Did my nephew say anything else? About where I keep the ring, maybe?" West thought for a moment. "He did ask if I knew where you usually kept it. I said I figured you'd have it in a safe somewhere, and he seemed to already know that." Michael's mind raced. His nephew hadn't betrayed him. Someone was impersonating his nephew, using his name to gather information. "One more thing," Michael said. "Have you heard rumors about anyone interested in your memorabilia collection? Someone researching your security setup?" West's eyebrows shot up. "How did you know?" "My security team reported suspicious activity. Last month, someone trying to access our home system. We upgraded everything immediately." Michael thanked West and called Detective Reyes, sharing this new information. "So, someone impersonated your nephew in Charlotte," she summarized. "That could be our Terrence Jordan, who approached your son, the same person using different covers to gather information. And targeting other NBA legends too," Michael added. "This is bigger than just my ring." After ending the call, Michael wandered into the hall's gift shop. A young employee approached him nervously. "Mr. Jordan, there was a man here yesterday, asking about you," she said quietly. "He wanted to know if you'd visited recently and seemed really interested in your display." "Did he give a name?" Michael asked. "Trevor Bennett," she replied. "Said he worked for the Charlotte Hornets." The name struck a chord in Michael's memory. Trevor Bennett had been an assistant coach for the Charlotte Hornets when Michael owned the team. They'd had a falling out when Bennett was caught selling team insider information to gamblers. Michael had fired him personally. Michael immediately called his nephew in Charlotte to confirm he hadn't spoken to Jerry West last week. Then he called Detective Reyes again. "I need information on Trevor Bennett," he told her. "Former Hornets assistant coach. He might be our guy." While waiting for her to call back, Michael's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "The ring is where your heart broke first." Michael stared at the message, understanding washing over him. The old Chicago Stadium, where the Bulls played before the United Center was built, where he experienced his early playoff defeats to the Detroit Pistons. His heart had broken there. Many times before, he finally broke through to become a champion. The stadium had been demolished years ago, but there was a commemorative plaque at the site. Michael booked the next flight back to Chicago, certain he was finally closing in on the truth. During the flight, Michael received an update from Detective Reyes. "We found Trevor Bennett," she reported. "He's been working as an assistant coach for a high school in Charlotte. His finances are a mess. He's behind on his mortgage payments and has maxed out credit cards. So he has motive," Michael said. "Yes, but something strange happened," Detective Reyes continued. 3 days ago, Bennett suddenly paid off a large chunk of his mortgage. $30,000 in cash. 3 days ago? Michael repeated. "That's right after my ring disappeared." "Exactly," Detective Reyes said. "We're bringing him in for questioning, but he's not answering his phone or showing up at work. Might have gone on the run." Michael landed in Chicago that evening and headed straight to his Highland Park mansion. He needed to check something before going to the Chicago Stadium site. At home, he carefully examined the family photos on his desk. One in particular caught his eye. A picture of him with his 3 children taken at last year's Christmas gathering. Something seemed off about it. Michael picked up the frame and noticed it had been moved slightly from its usual position. Looking behind it, he found a small piece of paper tucked into the frame's backing. On it was written a series of numbers, 332-17-C. "What is this?" Michael wondered aloud. He called Detective Reyes and described his discovery. "Could be a locker number," she suggested. "The format matches storage lockers at Union Station in downtown Chicago." "I'm heading there now," Michael said. "Wait for backup," Detective Reyes insisted. "This could be a trap." Michael agreed to meet her at Union Station, the grand old train terminal in Chicago's downtown. By the time he arrived, Detective Reyes was already waiting with 2 plainclothes officers. "The locker area is this way," she said, leading him through the busy station. They found locker 332-17-C in a quiet corner of the station. It was secured with a combination lock. "The numbers on the paper could be the combination," Michael suggested, trying the sequence. The lock didn't open. "Maybe it's not a combination," Detective Reyes said. "Maybe it's—" Before she could finish, Michael's phone rang. The screen showed unknown number. "Put it on speaker," Detective Reyes instructed. Michael answered. "Hello?" "Look at the numbers." "Differently," a digitally disguised voice said, before hanging up. Michael stared at the paper. 332-17-C. Wait, what if it's not a locker number? What if it's a date? March 3, 2017, Detective Reyes said. "What happened on that day?" Michael thought hard. That was when my son Marcus came to me for a loan to start his restaurant business. I gave him $1 million to get started. The C could stand for Chicago, Detective Reyes suggested. Or Charlotte, where your son lives. Michael tried the nearest lockers, testing combinations based on the numbers. None worked. "Maybe it's simpler," he said finally. Maybe the combination is just 33217. He tried it on the original locker, and the lock clicked open. Inside was a small burner phone. Nothing else. Careful, Detective Reyes warned. It could be rigged. A forensics officer carefully checked the phone and found no tampering. It's just a basic prepaid phone, he reported. Michael held the phone, unsure what to do next. Suddenly, it vibrated, in his hand, making him jump. The phone was receiving a call. Should I answer it? He asked Detective Reyes. She nodded, motioning for the forensics officer to try to trace the call. Hello? Michael answered. The ring is where your heart broke first, the same disguised voice said. Go alone, or you'll never see it again. The Mao call ended abruptly. Did you trace it? Detective Reyes asked the forensics officer. No, the call was too short, he replied. But the phone might have GPS data we can extract. I know where they want me to go, Michael said. The Chicago Stadium site. It's definitely a trap, Detective Reyes warned. We should send officers first. If they see police, they might run or destroy the ring, Michael argued. I need to go, but you can follow at a distance. After some discussion, they agreed on a plan. Michael would go to the Chicago Stadium site while Detective Reyes and her team watched from unmarked cars nearby. The old Chicago Stadium had stood at 1800 West Madison Street before being demolished in 1995. Now, the United Center stood nearby, but a commemorative plaque marked where the original stadium had been. As Michael approached the plaque in the growing darkness, memories flooded back. The roar of the crowd, the battles against the Detroit Pistons, the heartbreaking playoff losses that had shaped him as a competitor. The area was empty, just a small plaza with the bronze plaque. Michael examined it carefully. The plaque was mounted on a stone base about 3 feet high. Looking closer, he noticed that the plaque seemed slightly loose on one side. Carefully, he tried to shift it. The plaque moved, revealing a small space behind it. Michael reached in and felt something wrapped in cloth. His heart pounding, he pulled out the small package. Unwrapping it carefully, he found his Hall of Fame ring, instantly recognizable by the unique inscription inside. I found it, he whispered, knowing Detective Reyes could hear him through the wire he was wearing. As he slipped the ring onto his finger, feeling its familiar weight, his phone buzzed with a text message. Now check behind the base. Michael looked behind the stone base of the plaque and found another small package taped to the back. Inside was a note and a piece of familiar fabric from the suit jacket he had worn at his Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The note read, I borrowed this because I needed the money, but I could never sell it. I'm sorry I betrayed you. Michael recognized the handwriting immediately, and his heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Dad? Are you okay? Detective Reyes's voice came through his earpiece. We're coming to your location. Michael couldn't speak. He just stared at the note, written in the familiar handwriting of his youngest son, Marcus Jordan. Detective Reyes and her officers arrived moments later, finding Michael sitting on a bench near the plaque, the ring on his finger, the note clutched in his hand. Mr. Jordan, you found it, Detective Reyes said, relief in her voice. Then she noticed his expression. What's wrong? Wordlessly, Michael handed her the note. She read it, then looked at him with understanding in her eyes. The handwriting matches. Your son's? She asked gently. Michael nodded. It's Marcus, my own son. We should go back to the station, Detective Reyes suggested. Figure out what this means. At the police station, they gathered in a private conference room. Michael placed the ring, the note, and the piece of fabric on the table. I need to understand why, Michael said, his voice hollow. Why would Marcus do this? Detective Reyes made a call, then turned to Michael. I just received some information. Your son's credit card was used to purchase surveillance equipment similar to what we found in the downtown apartment. That doesn't make sense, Michael insisted. Marcus has plenty of money. The restaurant business is doing well. He doesn't need to steal from me. Sir, Detective Reyes said carefully, we've been looking into your son's finances. The restaurants aren't doing as well as you think. They've been losing money for the past year. Michael felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. He never said anything. There's more, Detective Reyes continued reluctantly. We found evidence that Marcus has been gambling heavily, sports betting mostly, but also casino games online. He's lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in the past 6 months. Gambling, Michael repeated, the irony not lost on him. His own struggles with gambling had been well documented during his playing days. It appears he was in debt to some dangerous people, Detective Reyes explained. The kind who don't take IOUs. Michael remembered how his son had avoided eye contact during their family dinner. How quiet he'd been lately. The signs had been there, but he hadn't seen them. Trevor Bennett, Michael suddenly said. How does he fit into this? We're still working on that connection, Detective Reyes replied. But my guess is Bennett might have been working with Marcus. Or maybe Marcus paid him to help set up the surveillance equipment. Bennett's experience with the Hornets would have given him connections to people who know about security systems. As they spoke, Michael's phone buzzed with a text message. It was from Marcus. Dad, I need to talk to you. I know you found the ring and my note. Please, let me explain. Michael showed the message to Detective Reyes. What should I do? That's up to you, Mr. Jordan, she said. We have enough evidence to make an arrest, but given that the ring has been returned and there was clearly no intent to permanently deprive you of it, the charges could be reduced. Michael stared at his son's message, feeling torn between anger, disappointment, and a father's instinct to protect his child. I want to talk to him first, he decided. Detective Reyes nodded. I understand. We'll give you some privacy, but we'll need to speak with him afterward. Michael texted back, Come to the house. We need to talk. An hour later, Michael sat in his living room, the recovered ring on his finger, waiting for his son. When the doorbell rang, Tyrone answered it, giving Marcus a cold look as he let him in. Marcus stood in the doorway to the living room, looking younger and more vulnerable than his 30 years. His eyes were red, his shoulders slumped with the weight of his secret finally exposed. Dad, he began, his voice cracking. I'm so sorry. Sit down, Michael said, his tone neither angry nor forgiving, just tired. Tell me everything. Marcus sat on the edge of the sofa. It started small, just betting on games for fun. Then I started losing, and I kept betting more, trying to win it back. Before I knew it, I owed these guys almost $500,000. Why didn't you come to me? Michael asked. You know I would have helped you. I was ashamed, Marcus admitted, tears forming in his eyes. You're Michael Jordan, the greatest ever, and I'm your son who couldn't even keep his restaurants profitable, who got addicted to gambling just like... He stopped. Just like me, Michael finished for him. Is that what you were going to say? Marcus nodded. They threatened me, Dad. Said they'd hurt me or someone in the family if I didn't pay. I panicked. I knew how valuable your Hall of Fame ring was. I thought I could use it as collateral for a loan, pay off my debts, then get it back before you even noticed. So you installed listening devices in my house? Set up surveillance? Created this elaborate scheme to frame other people? Michael asked, disbelief in his voice. I had help, Marcus admitted. Trevor Bennett introduced me to some guys who knew about security systems. Then when you discovered the ring was missing sooner than I expected, I panicked again. I tried to make it look like someone else took it. And the anonymous notes? The games? Michael pressed. I thought if I made it complicated enough, by the time you figured it out, I'd have the money to get the ring back to you. Marcus wiped his eyes. But then I realized I couldn't do it. I couldn't sell your ring no matter how much trouble I was in. It meant too much to you. Michael sat in silence, absorbing his son's confession. The betrayal cut deep, but beneath his anger was understanding. He knew all too well the pull of addiction, the spiral of bad decisions that come from trying to fix one mistake with another. "How did you resolve your debt?" Michael finally asked. "I didn't," Marcus admitted. "They've given me one more week." Michael stood and walked to the window, looking out at the darkened grounds of his estate. The ring felt heavy on his finger, a weight of responsibility, legacy, and family. "What happens now?" Marcus asked quietly. Michael turned to face his son. "First, we deal with your gambling addiction. Professional help starting tomorrow. Then we figure out this debt situation, legally. And you'll face the consequences of what you did." "Am I going to jail?" Marcus asked, fear in his voice. "That's not up to me," Michael replied. "But Detective Reyes is waiting to talk to you." As Marcus bowed his head, accepting the reality of what would come next, Michael's phone lit up with a text from him. "Dad, I need help." After a long moment, Michael typed back, "Come home, son. We'll figure this out together." The betrayal had broken his heart, but the bond between father and son might just be strong enough to heal it. That was the end of this story about Michael Jordan's missing Hall of Fame ring. Where are you listening from? If you enjoyed this emotional journey, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like this one. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family to spread kindness and awareness. Your support helps us continue creating content that entertains and brings people together. Thanks for listening.